From the banks of the Allegheny, welcome to Film Bits Close Reads. Hey everybody. So now that I'm doing Beards on Film, I wanted to do this Close Reads segment of a variety of episodes where I do small, short breakdowns of anything within film that catches my fancy that week or that time. Today, for the first episode, we are going to look at how shots are used and edits are created for a particular scene in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. There is a conversation between Mr. Halloran and Danny that a lot of information is conveyed in just the pattern of the shot structure and the editing until eventually we get to a big reveal, but it's also subtle and nuanced. You don't realize it's all going on unless you observe and pick up some things. So let's go ahead and dive right in to The Shining, the conversation between Mr. Halloran and Danny. All right, so we're going to start with this crossfade from Danny's family touring to Mr. Halloran. Now, the first thing I want you to note about Mr. Halloran is the red and blue of his outfit. Red and blue are very important colors in The Shining, and we're not going to get into all that right now, but this is the subtle information being played out before you. So notice how he's in red and blue, mostly blue, but we do see a little bit of red, and his shot is a medium close.
Do you know how I knew your name was Doc?
Then we switch over to Danny, and he's in red and blue, and also in a medium close, with Halloran kind of at a profile.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Cut back, and the shot, reverse shot. And we're seeing the same kinds of shots being used. Halloran there in the medium close, cut back to Danny in the medium close with Halloran at a profile.
Conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths. She called it shining.
Cut back to Danny. Now we only see Halloran's hands. He's still in that medium close. Back to Halloran.
I thought you was the only one. But there are other folks. Though mostly they don't know it or don't believe it.
Now notice we're just getting into discussion about The Shining right now. Now this is a different setup. Now that we've just got into the discussion about The Shining, we go a little wide. We see a bigger shot of Halloran in that profile, but we're still pretty much in that same point of view from where Danny had the medium close.
Why don't you want to talk about it?
Back into Danny close.
I'm not supposed to.
Medium close, pardon me. Back to Halloran, and we're back into this same shot reverse shot pattern of the medium closes between the two characters.
Who's Tony?
Now we're getting to Tony and Danny's discussion of he being not possessed, but having the Shining. Now, notice how we have changed. It's still a medium close shot, but look over Halloran's right shoulder. It's just a little bulletin board casing, but notice the red and the blue there, and the timing of what is going on in the dialogue. For this period of time, we didn't have this shot. Then we start talking about The Shining and Tony, and now all of a sudden, we keep with the same type of shot, but the focus of it has changed. The composition has changed.
The one that tells you things?
Now we cut to Danny. He's in the same composition. Cut back to Halloran, to the old composition. Then we cut over to here to the hand fold composition that we had before.
But when I wake up,
so now we're getting like a sampler plate of all the different ways we've seen Halloran, but Danny has been consistent. Cut back to Halloran, red and blue.
Tony?
yes,
Do they know he tells
And
you
now we're
things?
establishing a new pattern. Still the medium close, but now we're going to see that red and blue consistently over Halloran's shoulder outside of a shot or two.
Told you anything about this place?
Come back here
About the Overlook Hotel?
to the original Halloran composition, and then back here to this early Halloran shot, and back to red and blue.
Hard, Doc. Think.
Notice how the shots that we get of Halloran are constantly shifting, whereas the ones we get of Danny are pretty stable.
Drellin, are you scared of this place?
Now that's a big deal. Mr. Halloran, are you scared of this place? And watch what shot we get that breaks the pattern. Boom. Now we're out wide. But look at what's hanging over Danny's head. Knives. We have worked all this way, establishing through the costuming in the red and blue, establishing through switching Halloran's angle so we started to see more red and blue over his shoulder, to get to where Danny asks this question, and before Halloran can answer, we go wide, knives hanging over Danny. He says, "Are you afraid of this place?" And the knives are symbolic of the terror or the danger to come.
No. Scared nothing here.
We don't quite buy what Halloran says here, at least I don't.
You know,
We're staying in this
places
shot.
People.
No cuts.
Some shine and some don't.
No cuts.
I guess you could say the Overlook Hotel here has something about it that's like shining.
Danny's going to ask another question.
Is there something bad here?
Is there something bad here? Now we cut back out to Halloran in the single, in the medium, close, the red and blue over his shoulder, and we're going to go back and reestablish the earlier pattern. The two questions Danny asks, "Are you afraid of this place?" and "Is there something bad here?" are said in the wide shot with the knives over Danny.
Well,
We'll watch this for about another 20 seconds to show you the pattern reestablishing itself, so you know I'm not just talking mess here. Back to Danny, back to Halloran.
anyone can notice, over the years.
I cut through most of Halloran's dialogue there because this is a long scene for him. Cut back to Danny in the medium close.
What about room 237?
Now, if you know Shawnee, you know 237 is a big deal. You can tell Halloran's
237.
expression. Also notice a little bit more red. We've seen this shot once or twice before. Most of the time we just get this red and blue, but now it's widened out a little bit more to get this little bit of red down here as we talk about room 237. Still staying within the same pattern of shots and edits, but little subtleties being added. Sometimes a shot thrown in there that we've seen before, particularly with Halloran, that isn't part of the consistent shot reverse shot where Halloran is just in the middle close. So lots of information communicated there just through the patterning of the shots. And when we switch out to the wide, one of the few wides we see, it's connected with Danny's questions of danger and of an ominous nature. And then we come back in here. All right, that's all we've got today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back here on Close Reads or on With Beards on Film. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.